Hey friends, let's get moving. Before we get to it, as part of our warm-up, we're going to start with our wrists and give our wrists a little love. So you can be sitting or standing or whatever for this part. It's up to you. But go ahead and lock your left elbow in towards your side and have your left palm facing the ceiling. And you're going to use your right hand to support and grasp around your left forearm so that your forearm doesn't rotate at all or flip at all. And then making your hand a really nice strong karate chop blade, you're gonna start to circle your hand. So you're circling at the wrist joint. And you're gonna go as slowly and with great intention as you can. And if you imagine that your range of motion here was kind of sweeping the perimeter of a room, you really want to make sure to get all the cobwebs out of the corners. So really take your time and explore your range of motion here. And after you've done about 3, we're going to go ahead and reverse in the other direction. And so you can notice how that feels. You can notice if there's any parts of your range where you feel like a little skip or a hitch, or you feel like it just, your hand can't go there or your wrist just can't go there, and just noticing that. Okay, and so we've done 3 in both directions on the left. So now we're going to switch to the right. So same thing, lock your elbow in. So we're taking out any possibility of movement in the upper arm. And then we're going to use the left hand to remove the possibility of the forearm moving so that we can really isolate the wrist. And so karate chop hand and start your circle. It doesn't matter which direction you start in, but remember, you're trying to sweep the perimeter of the room, really intentionally exploring your range of motion, almost imagining like you are doing this action in with your wrists and hands submerged in cold molasses or cold honey. So you're kind of providing yourself a little bit of resistance as you go. After you've done about 3 in one direction, let's go ahead and reverse to the other direction. Really focusing in on the wrist. And this is such a great warm up for later on in class when we're going to have our hands down and things like all fours, plank, stuff like that. Last one for me. After you've done about 3 in both directions, ooh, that's so hard. Shake out your hands. Okay, so from here, you're going to want to turn your fingers back behind you, and we're going to slowly work the palms down towards the ground. Okay. So you might have, if there's a little bit less range of motion or a little bit more of a strong stretch sensation, you might try and keep your shoulders stacked over your wrists. But if you feel like you want a little bit more depth of the sensation, then you take your shoulders back behind your wrist to increase the stretch sensation. Take a nice breath. Can you be in this position and fan your fingers out a little bit wider? Can you push your long, strong fingers into the ground? And notice how that changes the stretch sensation. Okay, now go ahead and lift up out of that. So that stretched this part of the forearm, the palmar side of the forearm. So now we're gonna do the other side. So you're gonna take your left hand and place the back of your hand on the ground next to you. And you can just have a nice relaxed hand for this. And then you're gonna lean back so your shoulder moves back behind your wrist. Okay, so if you do this and you're like, man, that's not really a big stretch for me, then here's how you can kick it up a notch. You can make a fist and use your thumb to keep your index finger down. And so then you're going to put the back of your hand down again, and then from there, lean back. So Putting your hand in the fist and really locking your index finger down is going to create more drag, more length in that muscle. So it might make the stretch feel a little bit more intense. Choose the one that feels most kind for you today. And then wherever you are, in the fist or the flat hand, try rotating your forearm. Okay, so not really your upper arm. Your upper arm bone will rotate a little bit, but see if you can untether your forearm from your wrist. And that might present as your elbow crease shining forward and shining back. Okay, go ahead and then, unpack, peel yourself out of there, shake it out. So let's go over to the other side, the right hand. So maybe start with the less intense version. So just the back of the hand on the ground, and then lean your shoulder back, lean your torso back to lengthen there. And if that feels good, stay there. If you want more of a stretch sensation, make a fist. Make sure that you use your thumb to lock your index finger in place, and then work the back of your hand down to the ground again. Maybe that's enough sensation. Maybe you choose to lean back a little bit. It's up to you. Remember, this side might be different than the other side. So you have to really just show up for what you're working with on this particular side. And then wherever you are, you can start playing around with that forearm swivel and just noticing how the stretch sensation changes as your forearm is rotating back and forth. Okay, go ahead and unpack. Woo! Shake it out, shake it both out. Okay, so from here, if you can do an easy deep squat, cool, do an easy deep squat. If you can't do an easy deep squat, you can get a block and sit on it. So it's gonna look like you've laid a block egg. And remember that your block is a very sophisticated piece of technology with 3 settings built into it: low, medium, or high. So you can choose the setting that feels right for your body and your joints today. So your feet are wider than your hips. Bring your left hand down to the ground, to the inside of your left leg, and then you're gonna paint up with the right arm and reach, take a big stretch. So there's some push with your left elbow into your left leg, but then your left leg is hugging back into your arm for stability. And enjoy that breath. Reach and stretch. Okay, come back down. Bring your right hand down to the inside of your right leg. Paint your left arm up. And again, right elbow into the leg, and the right leg squeezes back for stability. Reach and stretch and breathe. And back over to the left hand down. Get that resistance between your leg and your arm. Reach your right arm up. And right hand down, last time. Resistance between leg and arm. Reach your left arm up. Big breath, big stretch. Okay, bring your left hand down. So now wherever you are, whether you are in your easy squat or you're seated on your block, we have some options here. You might use your hands for support. You might try to do it hands-free. But what we're going to try to do is to bring one knee to the ground at a time. So it's gonna look like this. I'm gonna pick up my left foot, and I'm gonna internally rotate and try to tap my knee down to the ground. And then I'm gonna pick back up and put my foot down, okay? Same thing on the right side. Pick your right foot up, point your knee in. Oh, this one's a little harder. And down, and then pick your leg back up. And we're just gonna go from side to side, okay? Waking up our hips a little bit. And you can go as quickly or as slowly as you want. Okay, one more each way. Started on the left, we're gonna finish on the right. There we go. Okay, let's take that block out of the way. You can put it off to the side, and we're gonna come into a lunging position. So take your right leg forward, and you're gonna start with your ankle in front of your knee. And you can do hands on your hips, which would be kind of a challenge for balance, or you can do hands on the ground, which might be more of a stretch for your hamstrings, the backs of your thighs. So we're gonna lunge forward and then rock back. And as you rock back, you're gonna straighten your front leg for a runner's stretch. So we're just lunging forward and lengthening back. And so if your hands are on the ground, it's gonna look a little bit more like this. You can also grab your block again, and you can put your hands on the block if the ground feels a little too far away. So there's lots of ways to customize it for your body and how it feels today. So we're saying hello to that hamstring and the front of the left hip here as we go back and forth. You can go as slowly or as quickly as feels good for your body today. You are in charge. One more here, forward and back. Great, go ahead and come up if you aren't already, and let's switch legs. So the left leg is forward, and you're starting again with your ankle forward of your knee, so you have room for that initial lunge. And back, lunge, and back. Okay, hands on hips or hands on the ground or hands on the block. It's your call. Remembering that we are creating space and respecting the fact that one side of our body might want to move a little bit differently than the other side of the body. Moving at whatever pace feels good. And maybe, like me, I'm kind of switching it up. I've got my hands on my hips right now, but a few minutes ago, I had my hands on the ground. So you can feel free to explore these options. You don't just have to choose one and then commit. Okay, last one. Forward and back. Okay, now let's come into that plank I mentioned earlier. So put your hands on the ground, wrists under shoulders, spread your fingers wide, turn your elbow creases forward, step your left foot back, step your right foot back to meet it. Here we are in a plank. You can keep your knees down on the ground if that would feel better for your body. So just breathe here. If you feel like you need to bounce, you may bounce. I'm a bouncer in plank as well. Just feeling the heat from staying in one place. We're going to be doing a lot of moving, so this might be your opportunity for stillness, at least for the beginning of class. We will have some stillness at the end too. Take one more big breath in and out. And then walk your feet and your hands together. Stand up. Okay, let's keep moving. We're gonna be doing a cross crawl march. So you're gonna, as you lift your right knee up away from the ground, your left hand's gonna tap it. And then same thing on the other side. So you're reaching across your body. When your left knee is up, your right hand is gonna tap it. But we're not just gonna be right here, okay? We're gonna swing that other arm around in a windmill to really wake up the shoulders. So you can, feel free to have fun with it. If you want to make it a little dancier, a little flowier, and if you want to go slowly, you can go slowly. If you want to speed it up, speed it up. It's your call. Just really enjoy sweeping that arm back behind you, waking up the shoulder, maybe feeling a little stretch on the front of the chest. And so you can stay right here with knees bent, or you can play around with straightening your legs. So I'm touching my outer shin. Your hands might stay back up at your knees, or they can start to reach down the leg for the toes or the shins. Your call. Big circles, feeling the heat. For 3, 2, and 1. Great job. Okay, now from here, you're gonna step your right foot forward and your left foot back. So we're coming to our lunge position again. Now, I want you to take your back leg and slowly lower as far as you can toward the ground, okay? Maybe you can get all the way down to the ground, maybe not. And then go ahead and press up straight and switch sides. Right foot back, left foot forward. Again, bend your right knee and see how low can you go, remembering that you have to get back up again. And straighten up. And step your right foot forward again, left foot back. So we're here in the lunge again. Now, we're gonna keep doing that. And this time, you don't have to take your knee all the way down to the ground. Maybe you just bend your back knee a little bit. Maybe you bend it a lot. You do you. Figure out what level of challenge feels well and kind for your body today. So we're gonna start with the legs straight and the arms up. So you're gonna take a breath in, and then you're gonna lower your knees, bend your knees, lower your back knee towards the ground. Then as you exhale, straighten your legs. You're gonna make fists and draw your elbows back behind you, okay? So inhale, arms up, knees bend. Exhale. If you want to give it a huh, you can. Here we go. So as you're straightening the legs, you want to make sure that you're pressing off through both feet. Not just your back leg, your front leg too. For 3, 2, and 1. Step your back foot forward and step your right foot back. Other side, here we go. So start with your legs straight, lift your arms up. Let's bend the knees. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, bend your knees, arms up. Exhale, fists, elbows drive back as the legs straighten. So again, you might be going a little slower, a little bit more soulful, slow burn today, or you might be feeling that fast fire, and you might be going at a faster pace. It's your call. Remember to use both legs to get you up. For 3, 2, and 1. Great. Go ahead and step your feet together. Put one hand over your heart or both hands and feel your heart beating. Close your eyes. Take some breaths. Okay, blink your eyes open, release your hands. Now, standing somewhat in the middle of your mat, because we are gonna be stepping out wide, side to side here in just a minute. So I wanna make sure that you're prepared and being proactive for what's gonna come next. So, starting in the middle, you're gonna take your arms out and up. Now, as you do that, you're keeping the rib cage in its stationary, mellow position, okay? So it's not like this, where you come into a back bend and you lift your ribs. Keep your rib cage down and your arms just go out wide and up, okay? So as you take your arms out and up, you're gonna try and touch your pinky fingers together. Maybe they'll touch. Maybe they won't. That's okay. Get them as close together as you can. And then as you take your hands down and back, you're gonna rotate your arms so that you can touch your thumbs behind your back. And again, Your thumbs might touch and they might not, but you're trying, okay? So here we go. As you take the arms up, pinkies touch, and then you flip and rotate at wrist, at shoulder height, and then thumbs touch behind. So we're continuing with that and keeping the ribs down. And that action of keeping the ribs down here in this position, that should just be gravity, letting gravity lower your ribs down, okay? A kind of a relaxing into that shape, as opposed to using your upper abs to pull your ribs down. So now we're gonna step wide. So you're gonna take a breath in, and then as you exhale, you're gonna step out wide. And so this is when your thumbs are reaching behind you. Now, when you come into this wide position, you really want your pelvis moving back, okay? And then, oh, I did the breath wrong. So this is the inhale. And then as you exhale, you come back up to center, pinkies touch. So inhale to the right, hands back behind you, drive your hips back. Exhale to the center, pinkies touch. Inhale to the left, exhale to the center, inhale to the right, exhale to the center. So let's keep going. Again, you're in charge of tempo. Try to keep your arms as straight as you can, so that we are giving a little bit more nutrition to the shoulder joints. If your arms get tired, drop your hands to your hips and keep going with the legs. If you're just doing the legs, really make sure that you're pressing through this outer bent leg to lift back up. Almost done. Nearly there. One more each way. We started on the left, so we're going to finish on the right. There we go. Proud of you. You did it. Okay. So let's come back to this cross crawl motion. Maybe it's a little slower this time because you're recovering from the last movement. You do have the option of straight legs here. That doesn't feel kind for me right now though, so I'm not gonna do it, but if it would feel kind for you, do it. For 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and relax. Shake out your arms. Roll through your shoulders. Go both ways. And now bring your chin down to your chest. And roll your head, ear to shoulder, making a little semicircle. Back and forth. Okay, lift your head back up. And now we're gonna come down. Oh wait, no, we're not gonna come down. We're gonna come to the corner. I forgot. So we're gonna come over to a corner and you're going to walk your feet out away from the corner a bit. So if you want this to be more challenging, walk your feet out a lot. If you want it to be a little bit less intense, your feet would be closer to the wall. And then you're gonna take your elbows out. So your elbows are in line with your shoulders. You have 90 degrees in your elbows. And so you're gonna take a breath in, really letting your upper back round and settle into the corner. And then as you exhale, you're gonna push with your elbows to come out of the corner. Again, inhale, settling in. And I'm actually going to take a moment to walk my feet out because that felt funny the last time. So take a breath in, exhale, push with your elbows. Inhale to settle, exhale to push. So you might think, oh, the work is just happening on the exhale when I push and lift myself out of the corner. And I mean, that is a good bit of work, but you can actually get a lot of bang for your buck on your slow lower back into the corner. So if you really want to work it, slow your descent into the corner down a little bit. Whew. I'm feeling it. We got this. Let's do 3 more. Feel your shoulder blades come together as you push away from the wall. This is 2. Slow descent. This is 1. Now we're coming down to the ground. Okay, come on down to your belly. You can take a moment. Okay, so from here, saying hello to our backs. Take your arms out in front of you and hold your head at kind of a nice position for your neck. I like to imagine that I'm holding a grapefruit between my chin and my chest, and that usually helps me to keep my neck long but strong at the same time. So you're going to take a breath in to prepare. As you exhale, right arm, left leg, lift. Inhale, set it down. Exhale, left arm, right leg. Inhale, set it down. Exhale, right arm, left leg, lift. Inhale, back down. And again, exhale, left arm, right leg. So we're alternating side to side, inhaling to lower, exhaling to lift. And again, go at your own pace. You're setting the tempo here. As you're lifting, hugging your spine and pelvis in towards the midline, in towards center. And yes, I know your spine is already in the midline, is in the center for most of us. But what I mean is that when you lift up your arm and your leg, I encourage you to try not to let your spine or your pelvis rock out of that center position or displace. For 3, 2, and 1. Okay, go ahead and relax. Make a pillow with your hands. Now from here, take your left arm straight out in front of you, but lift up just a little bit so there's some space underneath your left shoulder in the ground, and you're going to thread your right arm through that space. And then you're going to lower yourself towards the ground as much as you can, maybe putting your forehead on the ground if it's close. Hopefully, feeling a little stretch in the right arm, right shoulder, right upper back maybe even. And then go ahead and press both hands into the ground. So with the right arm, if your right elbow is on the ground, you might be pushing with the elbow as well as the palm. Just bringing a little activity into the stretch. Okay, let's go ahead and switch. So press down more into your left hand, slide your right arm out, straighten it out in front, take a full breath in and out. Okay, press your right hand down into the ground, take your left arm and thread it through, and then lower your torso back down towards the ground. Maybe your head's on the ground, maybe it's not. You can always put a block under your forehead if your head doesn't go all the way to the ground. Or if I put my head all the way on the ground, I feel like my left upper arm is gonna choke me. So I like to keep my head up. Okay, so we tune in with your stretch sensation. Notice which parts are lighting up in your body with the stretch. And then we're gonna press both hands into the ground. So right hand presses, left hand presses. If your left elbow is on the ground, press through your elbow too. Press through your whole forearm. Notice how that changes the stretch sensation. And relax. And let's unwind. Whew. Make a pillow with your hands. Rest your head down one more time. Take a few breaths. Okay, and now from here, open your arms out wide, side to side. And then we're gonna lift the left leg up, bend at the left knee, and by pushing up through the left foot, you're gonna try to reach for the ground with your left foot on the right side of your body. So you're kind of pulling yourself into a twist. Now, your foot might touch the ground. It might not touch the ground. Then go ahead and slowly lower back to center with control. And here we go with the right leg. Right leg up, bend your knee, push up through your foot. And that's the motion that's gonna start rolling you back. Maybe trying to find the ground with your right toes, the ground on the left side of your body. And then we're coming back to center, lowering with control. Over to the left again, lift your left leg up, bend your left knee, push up through the foot to steer you into that twist. Maybe you can reach the ground. There it is, I found it. Coming back to center. And then over to the other side, right foot up. Push up through the right foot to turn. There's the ground I found. Okay, one more each way. Pushing up through the foot to start the twist. Come back to center with control. Finishing with the right leg. And back to center. Great. So from here, bring your hands, I think I moved while I did that. Bring your hands under your shoulder joint, elbows in close. Take a breath in. As you exhale, lift your chest and head away from the ground, any amount. Inhale back down, exhale to lift. Keep your tush and your legs relaxed for this part today. Last one. And relax. Okay, scoot your hands back a little bit so they're more by the sides of your ribs. Curl your toes under. You can use your knees. Let's push up to a plank. Get situated. Get comfy. Now, remember, you can do this with your knees down on the ground. Okay, draw your right knee in towards your chest, and then you're gonna swing. I said right knee. Right knee in towards your chest, and then you're gonna swing it back and forth really fast, like a quick pendulum. And as you swing, keep your hips and your shoulders square towards the ground. So even though your leg is going, you're trying to stabilize the rest of your body as much as possible. For 3, 2, and 1. Okay, back to plank. Drop your knees if you need to. Take a little break. If you need to get off your hands, you can get off your hands for a second. Hopefully your wrists are holding up because we did that nice stretching and range of motion exercise at the beginning. But if your hands aren't holding up and your wrists are bothering you, remember you can always have your fists on the ground instead of your palms. So here we go. Back to plank, whether you're in high plank or low plank. And now left knee in and pendulum swing. If you can, if you have any extra awareness to spare, point your elbow creases in the same direction as your fingers. Keep breathing. Keep smiling if you feel it. For 3, 2, and 1. Put your knees down, curl your toes under, shift your hips back towards your heels. Now, as you do that, I'm gonna turn this way to show you. Try not to let your heels go out wide. Keep your heels pointing straight up and down. Okay, and then press your toes into the mat. Like you're trying to use the strength of your toes to shoot you forward, but you're just gonna stay put. It's a little isometric toe movement here. Again, this is one of those atomic moves where it's so small, you might not be able to see what's happening, but boy, can you feel it in your body in a big way. For 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and relax the press. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and come onto our side. Okay, so you're not all the way on your side, but you're sitting on your left hip, okay, with your left hand on the ground. And then, like you would stack your legs, you can start in that position so your ankles or your heels are in line with your hips, but then you're gonna pop your knees open a bit, okay? So take a breath in to prepare, and then as you exhale, you're gonna lift your hips away from the ground. So hopefully feeling that outer left hip, that left side butt turn on, and then inhale to lower, exhale to lift. Go at your own pace. Inhale to lower, exhale to lift. Again, if the wrist is an issue, come up onto your fist. For 3, 2, 1. Switch around, swing around to your right side. Okay, so starting with your legs stacked up, getting your hand in a nice spot with your fingers spread wide so you have a strong hand. And then just pop your knees open. And here we go, take a breath in to prepare. And as you exhale, lift. So feeling the right side butt. Exhale to lift, inhale to lower. You've got this. Feel proud of your side butt. For 3, 2, 1. Woo! Great job. Okay, we're gonna lower down onto our backs now. And maybe keep your block close by. Whoop. Okay, so coming down here to the back. Now we're gonna build this core exercise up from level 1 to harder and harder. So start with me in the beginner friendly zone, and if it's feeling well and you want to progress, then you can add challenge as we go. So step 1, go ahead and now use your abs to pull your ribs down, okay? So you're not here, you're here. Mellow ribs in a line with neutral pelvis. If that's hard to pull your ribs down, press pause, run and get a pillow or a blanket and prop your head up, okay? Head and shoulders up so your spine's curled. and your ribs are down. Now, starting with arms down by your sides. So this is gonna be a level 1 here, ribs are down. You can inhale, left leg out, arms up and back behind you. You're gonna tap the left heel and come back to the center. And then same thing with the right leg. Right heel comes out as the arms go overhead and back to center, okay? So that's level 1. Inhaling to extend, exhaling to come back to center. Then level 2 would be to bring your legs up into our hook fly position. Knees are over hips, and then there's a 90-degree bend in the knees. And so for you here, you can try same thing, extending the leg, tapping the heel down and bringing it back while the arms go up and back. Or then the next level would be to try both legs at the same time. And then, if you're still wanting the challenge, grab your block. Inhale to extend, exhale, knees to block. For 3, 2, and 1. Put your block down if you used it. Give your knees a hug into your chest and rock a little bit from side to side. And really get your thighs as close into your chest as you can, and then hold on to your shins with your arms or your hands. You might be hugging all the way around, or you might just be using your hands. You don't want to change the distance between your thigh and your torso. Take an exhale and curl your chest and head up away from the ground. And then here, get some momentum and start rocking. So if you feel like a little stegosaurus with your bony spine, rubbing on the ground, press pause, grab a blanket, give yourself that padding under your spine to keep going. For 3, 2, and 1. Relax back down. Put your feet down. Let's do a little bit of bridging here. Take a breath in. Exhale. Lift your hips. Inhale, lower your hips. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. And this time, exhale, lift your hips up, and then you're gonna reach one knee forward at a time, okay? So as your left knee reaches forward, your right hip might dip down a little bit. That's okay. And then same thing on the other side. As you reach your right knee forward, your left hip is probably gonna dip down. Maybe feeling a nice stretch on the fronts of the thighs or the fronts of the hips. And then go ahead and set your hips down. Walk your feet as wide as your mat, and then drop your knees over to the right. Reach your left arm up. Taking some slower, deeper, more intentional breaths. Okay, bring your left hand down. Drop your knees over to the left this time. Take your right arm overhead. And then bring your right hand down, bring your knees back up to center. You can scoot your feet a little bit closer in. Let's cross the left ankle over the right thigh. Pick the right foot up. And so you can do hands-free stretch here, Or you can put your hands on your right knee. You can reach through to clasp hands on the top of the right shin or the back of the right thigh, whatever feels good. And you can rock your legs a little bit from side to side. And let's go ahead and switch. Uncross, put your feet on the ground. Take a full breath in and out before you go over to the other side. Okay, right ankle over left thigh. Choose your hand position. Now, isn't it the case that we frequently go from one thing to the next in our lives without stopping? You know, you pull into a parking spot, you immediately turn the car off and you're flying out the door. How would it change the landscape of your mind and your emotions if when you parked, you turned off your car, took a deep breath in and out, and then got out? Now, that can be challenging if there's little rascals in the back seat hollering at you. But you know, that's something that you can think about. Pausing to breathe, pausing to feel before you move on to something else. Okay, last stretch here. Bring the soles of the feet together and the knees apart. Now you can always put a pillow under your head or your block under your head if you want to get more relaxed. Put your hands on your belly, close your eyes, take a deep breath in and exhale through an open mouth. Let's do it again and really let your jaw relax, let your tongue relax. Inhale. And then just let your breath do its thing. Let it be your involuntary breath as you relax your legs. Tune in and feel your body. Noticing what feels tired, what feels worked, what feels really good, what doesn't feel so good. You did some really hard work. So if you can muster the kind words to your body, I encourage you to tell yourself, I'm so proud of you. Thank you. Thank you for working hard for me. Take one more big breath in and an open mouth sigh. Okay. Go ahead and reach your hands down for your thighs. Help your legs back together. And then let's gently roll over. Tune into your sloth nature. Slowly sit up. Check in with your relaxation hair. Take a deep breath in and out. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so proud of you. You worked so hard. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.